Hi, everybody. It's Tuesday evening. I know it's a little bit different. We're used to Sunday and Wednesdays, right? But as previously mentioned, we're going to do the special update here on this Tuesday evening to get you up to speed on what we're expecting tomorrow in terms of severe weather chances here across Northwest Indiana. I'm region weather meteorologist Matt Wintz. We'll dive into it here after our opening. We'll let some people join. And as always, if you have questions, we'll answer those at the end and we'll get you on your way here on this Tuesday night. It's Region Weather Live special severe weather edition here on Tuesday evening. Yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. It's Region Weather Meteorologist Matt Wintz here on the Tuesday evening. Hope you guys are doing well. I want to say hi to Jeff, Raven, hello, Jackie, hi, Rhonda. Good evening to you, Abigail. Howdy there, Aaron. Hi, Mary. Hi, Crafty Julie, joining us on our YouTube channel. And Mark says he fired up the grill today. Wasn't it great today? Boy, we just had just a nice stretch of weather here, feeling a lot like spring around here for sure. And you know what that leads to? Showers and thunderstorms. And you know, nothing fired up along that warm front. And hopefully we'll keep it that way throughout the evening. Warm front now off towards our north. They've had some severe weather in Wisconsin from that, but really not a whole lot to worry about locally here tonight. And I don't think much to worry about tomorrow morning. We'll have to see what happens with the storms tonight. They're out towards the west, but we'll dive into it. Quick thank of our sponsors here. They get an extra night in here on Region Weather Live. But Tiger Plumbing, if you guys need a plumber, I know that's not something you need every day, but if you do, tigerplumbing.net. They're a family-owned business that's been around for 30 plus years in the Highland area. So reach out to them. They give no fees whatsoever for coming out to see what the problem is. Wonderful folks. Also, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in the Valpro area, just fantastic group as well. You guys know all about them. You probably always drive by their place, but they've got all new Jeeps on the lot for the season as well. So please take care of our sponsors. They take care of us as well. All right, I want to dive into it. We're going to talk threat first in terms of kind of how things have changed since we last met, at least face to face, which was on Sunday night on our Region Weather Live. Normally we do these Sundays and Wednesday nights just to talk about the weather over the next couple days, kind of how it's going to evolve. But what's changed since then? Well, really not a whole lot. This is a classic spring setup. We've got a strong area low pressure coming in to the central and southern plain states. We're already seeing ongoing severe weather in Iowa tonight. There have been ongoing large tornadoes on the ground, not just Iowa, but down in Texas as well. And that's expected to continue tonight. It's going to be a rough night for many people west of us. This is not going to affect us tonight. But in terms of the Storm Prediction Center, they always put out this risk. You know my feeling on this. I think it's a good indication of where the biggest threat's going to be. A lot of times, you know, you can get tornadoes outside of where the highest threat is. It's a matter of risk. And so you see that bullseye in Iowa. Totally agree with that. They're certainly seeing that tonight. That's kind of the triple point where we've got a warm front, cold front, lots of shear, dry line pushing in. It's just a classic setup for big time storms out there. As we get into tomorrow, though, that's really what I want to talk about because that threat shifts east tomorrow, right? We were highlighting this a week ago. We were talking about that threat sometime Wednesday, Thursday. The timing was kind of fluctuating on the severe weather threat, at least locally. And it does look like it's going to be tomorrow. It'll probably be more towards afternoon and evening, as we mentioned last Region Weather Live. And I think it'll all be out of here by Thursday. But in terms of that threat, not much has changed today. Much of Northwest Indiana still in the enhanced risk. So as we go on our levels, that's a 3 out of 5. You see the moderate risk, which is a 4 out of 5 down towards the south. I don't want you to draw the lines on this and say, hey, my county's in a slight. We barely have a risk for storms. That's not what this is about. This just tells you where the biggest storms are expected and where the highest chance of those severe storms are expected. And you notice the trend. That's what we're going to take away from this. The trend is that the further south you're located, the higher the risk tomorrow. And I can agree with that. So let's explain why, right? Here's how things are expected to shape out tomorrow. I'm going to show you two models. We've got the NAM and the HRRR. These are two of the high-res models. There are many more out there. These are the two solutions that I trust the most. And the way it's going to play out tomorrow is always complicated when you have severe weather because often the day after depends on what happens the day before. So tonight's storms that are developing out towards the west we're going to get some of the leftover either clouds or some of the leftover showers and maybe some rumbles off of those. So, depending on how those move in tomorrow and how long they last, that sets the stage for how our afternoon and evening weather plays out. So, if the models and the computer model guidance doesn't handle the beginning of the day well, it's not going to handle the end of the day well. So, there's two solutions tomorrow, and then I'll give you kind of my forecast or which one I'm leaning towards. But what we've got going on, big storms out towards Iowa, that's ongoing right now. That line will eventually extend down into Kansas. There's also another cluster down towards Texas. It'll eventually get into Arkansas, Oklahoma, and eventually head east. What we're going to watch are these storms coming out of the west that are in Iowa right now. Those are going to kind of fade towards our north, everything going kind of southwest to northeast. So we're not going to get directly impacted by those, but it's going to lay out a boundary tomorrow. On top of that, tomorrow morning, we're going to have some of the leftover activity from down to the south and the west moving in as well. So I think the way things are going to play out is we'll likely have a morning round of leftovers just coming through. Some showers, there may be some thunderstorms with that. I don't see anything severe. The dynamics aren't quite here yet tomorrow morning, but we'll likely have a first wave sometime tomorrow morning of leftover showers, perhaps some rumbles if they're still organized, but I don't see anything severe with that. And our guidance kind of hints at that. They kind of, agree with the fact that we're going to have something in the morning tomorrow. The big question, and it's always the question, always, always, always. I've covered severe weather for Northwest Indiana for almost 15 years now, right? And this is always how it goes. It always matters on that morning convection. And what I mean by convection is shower and thunderstorm activity. Does that clear out? Do we have enough time to destabilize that atmosphere in the afternoon out ahead of the cold front, which would trigger more storms? I'll show you the two model solutions and what they're saying. And one of them says, yes, we destabilize and we have a big severe threat tomorrow evening. The other one says, not so fast. We're going to have some rain hanging around tomorrow, which will impede some of the perhaps sun peaks we get, the heating, the destabilization, and that would mean our afternoon and evening round is subsevere, likely rain and thunder, maybe some gusty winds. So this is the severe solution. This is the NAM. Here's your morning convection, leftover showers and thunderstorms. This is morning rush hour time and then beyond. You notice how lunchtime, here you go. Look at the clearing on the NAM where we have stuff that's headed out towards the east. We likely get some sun peaks. If we don't, we're still destabilizing. We've got a strong south flow. The moisture is replenishing itself in the upper levels, and we get a big line of storms that develops out towards the west. The timing on this is crucial tomorrow, and the timing is going to help the severe potential tomorrow because these storms are likely going to move in late afternoon and evening. That's when you often have peak heating, you have peak instability. If they were to come by at night, it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal, but these are going to likely approach sometime late afternoon and evening tomorrow. And here's the NAM solution. Notice the big storms really firing up just towards our west. This is now mid-afternoon. This is around 5 o'clock or so, 5 or 6 o'clock. So we're now talking mid to late afternoon. Let's just say that. You can see this line of storms, likely damaging winds with this if this solution verifies, if they develop this way. We know we're going to have some kind of line with this, right? Because that's just usually what happens along a cold front. There is plenty of shear in the atmosphere as well. Shear, produces rotation. Storms rotate all the time. I always say that, right? It's not scary that a storm's rotating, but the fact that we've got rotation tomorrow, instability, all the ingredients kind of coming together, some of these could be producing tornadoes tomorrow if this solution verifies. As we get into the evening hours, that line of storms pushes into Northwest Indiana. It's going to be coming into a little bit less favorable environment to support supercells and the tornadic activity, but it still looks like enough as of right now with this solution, right? Severe weather continues downstate. You can notice Arkansas, Tennessee, areas of western Kentucky getting hit hard as well. We likely get some heavy rain after that initial push, and then this thing's out of here. We don't have to worry about it. You can see how it pushes out towards the east, and then we get just some action on the southern base of this trough, which has colder air, which is coming in this weekend. We've already talked about that. I want to stick to the severe weather on this one. Normally, our Region Weather Lives, we go long-term. We'll talk 10 days out. We're not going to do that this time. I want to focus on the severe weather. So our other solution, I want to show you that. So this is a NAM. This has line of thunderstorms developing tomorrow afternoon, pushing in late afternoon into the evening. It looks to be severe, right? All modes of severe weather, damaging winds would be primary threat. We could have some hailers. We could have some tornadoes out of that, right? That's probably the reason why the Storm Prediction Center has that enhanced risk this far north, okay? The reason why maybe they shouldn't have that risk this far north, I'm going to show you another example of a model. The RAP model has this as well, the HRRR, the HRRR. These are all high res, so we can look at the details of these storm systems, which is typically what we do at this time. So as we go through time, the HRRR has this morning activity coming in just a little bit later. So late morning into midday, it has some of the leftovers, you see it there, of the storms down towards the south and the west. So it doesn't quite bring it in quite as early. It has it coming in midday. Midday is typically when the NAM nest started to clear us out a little bit. So that means we'd be seeing rain then. And notice where the big thunderstorms develop. It kind of fades this line towards our west, and it develops the bigger storms down towards Missouri. We're already getting rain when the other model had us destabilizing. So that rain is actually a stabilizing effect. And you notice as we get in the afternoon and evening, all the severe weather is down towards the south. Indianapolis, down towards Louisville, Evansville. That's where the severe weather is tomorrow, says the HRRR. What would we get out of that? We'd get rain, probably heavy rain at times off of that. We'd likely get some thunder and lightning, maybe some gusty winds, but it really doesn't look like, if this solution verifies, our severe weather chances are very high. To me, that's going to be all down to the south because we have that daytime rainfall. So what this is going to depend on tomorrow is how do things evolve tonight into tomorrow morning with the storms that we already have on radar off towards the west. There are so many fine-tuned details that go into that. I know it's frustrating that models don't have the exact solution towards that, but there's just, it's chaotic. The atmosphere is chaotic. It's impossible to predict exactly when these storms and how they're going to bubble up and exactly when they're going to fall apart, how they'll merge with other storms. It's just extremely complex. I hope everyone understands that. And it's amazing of the science that we can even have future radar, to be honest with you. Now, the model I'm leaning towards is actually a little bit more HRRR-ish, right? Just looking at some of the activity, how it's evolved on radar here tonight, we've seen a lot of thunderstorms blossoming down towards the south and the west, as well as the west. All that stuff has to kind of go in and disappear in order for us to clear out tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to have updates all day tomorrow for you. We'll go live, obviously, if anything severe breaks. But, we're really going to have to watch how that stuff evolves, how it moves in tomorrow, and timing of it. If it comes in early and then it gets out of here and we clear out, that's going to be problematic, okay? If you're seeing the sunshine tomorrow, if we have a dry lunchtime through like 4 p.m. tomorrow, we're going to have some problems in the evening, all right? So what do we do right now? We need to stay weather aware, right? There's a couple other things I want to show you if you're perhaps a science junkie. There's a couple things we can look at. We can look at significant tornado parameter. This is a measure of, it's an algorithm that puts together a lot of parameters, a lot of different ingredients that produce significant tornadoes. So we'll show you the NAM nest. This is worst case scenario tomorrow, right? This is the one we need to take seriously. You can see the parameters pretty high in areas of Iowa today. Also, they would be down in Texas as well. As this moves in tomorrow, you can see that little flare up right there off towards the west tomorrow evening. This is worst case scenario where perhaps we get some tornadoes towards our west. Would that situation hold as it moves east? It'll be coming into a less favorable environment. That's good. But we certainly can't rule that out tomorrow as well. The other thing that's kind of lacking is our CAPE. We've got enough CAPE, which is convective available potential energy. We've talked about that before. That's the juju in the atmosphere, the energy in the atmosphere. We'll have enough tomorrow, but it fades as this whole system moves in. A lot of you are familiar with, and I've said it before, the Northwest Indiana split, where you get a big line of storms to the west. It's severe, and then it hits Northwest Indiana like a wall, and it just kind of falls apart or it splits. So are things going to do that tomorrow? I don't think they're going to split tomorrow, but they certainly could weaken as they move in as well. And this would be why. Here's your unstable atmosphere, ability of it to produce lift as you're going through time. You notice it has a big CAPE tonight, right? A really high CAPE, very energetic atmosphere. Tomorrow, watch how this kind of flares up towards our west right there. And then as it moves in, it kind of fades out. So that just tells me thunderstorms likely won't be strengthening over Northwest Indiana tomorrow. We're going to get whatever's happening in Illinois. Right? And does that happen further north up towards Chicago where we have to watch it as it moves in? Or does that all develop down towards south because we had rain earlier in the day? That's the big question. Okay. So I hope that kind of helps. I know you're seeing a lot of forecasts tomorrow, and I don't want to just kind of clear code it saying Tomorrow we have severe weather chances, because we do, but the timing on it that we need to watch isn't the morning. It's not the midday. It's the later in the afternoon into the evening. Okay. That's when we need to be weather aware tomorrow. And I want you all to be little meteorologists tomorrow and notice tomorrow what's happening in the atmosphere. So if it's raining at noon, if it's raining at 2 or 3 o'clock from leftovers that we get, you'll know in your mind, like, hey, maybe our severe weather threat isn't that high tonight. I'm going to check region weather just in case, but that's a good sign if you don't want severe weather. If you enjoy big thunderstorms, I don't know too many people that do, but if you're craving a thunderstorm tomorrow evening that, is on the bad side, and you go outside midday, early afternoon, we've got some sun peaks, it's dry, we've been dry for about 4 hours, that's when we have to start paying attention to that weather tomorrow evening, okay? All right, so I certainly hope that helps. I'm getting a lot of questions about what time should I expect this at my house, all that stuff, and that's a great question. Again, it's going to be late afternoon and evening everywhere, right? And it depends on how things develop. The models, especially the NAM, brings it in a little bit earlier around the evening rush hour. The HRRR has rain all day, so it has it going all through the evening as well. So we'll see which one holds true on that. But overall, the biggest threat is going to be tomorrow afternoon and evening. So keep that in mind. And again, it's with that little cluster right there that develops as it moves in. And this is actually the new NAM nest. You can see it's about 41% in right now. So we don't have the full model run, but this is the newest run of the NAM nest. And it's not the only model we look at, but it certainly is one that handles convection well, at least from experience. And you can see this new model has the rain coming through. It's kind of more in line with the HRRR, to be honest, where it has the rain kind of holding. We clear out for a little bit, but like 3, 4, 5 o'clock. And then we bring this line in, which doesn't look as severe, but it still looks like we could have some supercells in there tomorrow evening. And then you can see the real bad stuff's just down to the south. But again, this is model guidance. So we can't take this for truth. This is just guidance on how things might play out tomorrow. But that would still be a severe threat tomorrow evening if that holds true. Okay. All right, let's get to your questions and we'll get you on your way tonight. Let's see. Mike was watching the Weather Channel earlier. They had the Mid-South in purple and then Southern Illinois dark red, our region in light red, saying that the South would be getting the worst of it tomorrow. I do agree with that, Mike. The chance for severe weather is further south. The Weather Channel takes this right here and they recolor it. To be honest, I love that idea because, and I do the same thing. I'm on NBC in the Cleveland area, which a lot of you know that. And I do the same thing. I've copied the Weather Channel colors because I really like them because they all show severe threat. The thing I don't like about the Storm Prediction Center, which does these colors, the green is still a chance for severe weather, but it's green. Green means go. Green means happy, right? And the green, I don't like that as a threat thing, right? I like all reds and pinks as threats. And so what you're seeing is this on the Weather Channel. They have the enhanced, which is the orange. That's a level 3 out of 5 in terms of severe weather chances, right? They have that as dark red, and then they have the moderate as a pink, which basically the threat is high if you're in the slight, right? You've got a decent chance of severe weather, which is the yellow. And you can see how those colors get, worse as you get down towards the south. So that's all the Weather Channel's doing is just taking what the Storm Prediction Center says out of Oklahoma. They forecast, the threats for severe weather, all that stuff. They're taking that and recoloring it. So that's what you're seeing there, Mike. So hope that helps. All right. You're welcome. Sea Island Fairy Dreams. You're welcome. I appreciate you joining us on our YouTube channel as well. But yeah, tomorrow we're going to pay attention to this and we're going to be weather aware tomorrow, right? Faith, good idea. Good thing out ahead of these storms is to always charge your stuff, charge your cell phones. If you have a backup battery for that, charge that as well. Just to be prepared for this. This isn't a huge threat tomorrow. We like to keep things real. I'm a non-hype kind of person. It is what it is, right? So we need to be weather aware tomorrow. That's it. As long as you know exactly how things are going to play out tomorrow evening, or you're keeping an eye on your radar, we'll let you know if there's something significant that you need to worry about. As of right now, this is just a weather aware kind of thing tomorrow evening, right? Is it a slam dunk severe event? Not at all. Sometimes we have those. Sometimes we have slam dunk tornado events where we know there's going to be a tornado somewhere in the area. Our tornado risk tomorrow is on the lower side with most models. That NAM nest, though, is the one we'd have to watch. That may have some tornadoes in it, and that's the one that we'll have to keep an eye on if that happens, okay? Greg brings up a great point as well. Extra fuel for the generators as well. Teresa, you're welcome. Richard asking when spring is coming. Last 2 days and then it goes away, Richard. I'm telling you, we're back to a cooler pattern after this too. We talked about that on Sunday, but boy, that jet stream is not going to help us out at all, for sure. Nick, I know exactly where Lowell is, buddy. Yeah, you don't need to tell a meteorologist geography. You're in the same risk, Nick, as everyone else tomorrow. We're going to keep an eye on these storms tomorrow in the afternoon to see how they develop. Again, a lot of the guidance keeps the strongest storms south of here. It all depends on if we have the rain throughout the day or if that rain clears out of here in time. Adrian, great question. When do we expect the biggest impact with the hail and wind? Or what do I expect the biggest impact? So biggest impact tomorrow, I think the biggest almost guarantee from any severe weather is going to be strong winds. We've got a powerful jet stream coming into the system. There's already going to be wind energy tomorrow, even here at the surface. So we're going to have gusty winds throughout the day. But damaging winds will probably be the primary threat from the thunderstorms. We can't rule out hail, though. The atmosphere with cold air coming in the loft will be structured for some hail in some of the storms. And we can't rule out tornadoes either. The highest tornado threat is going to be the further south you are. But most of us are pretty much in the same risk, so I don't really want to say that stretching across the region. But again, we can't rule out tornadoes tomorrow, but it all depends on how this evolves tomorrow. And I'll keep you updated. I'll have an update on there saying, remember what we talked about last night? This situation's playing out, or this situation's playing out. If we dry out and we get some sun peaks in the afternoon, that means that evening line is going to be strong to severe. If we keep the rain around throughout much of the day tomorrow, that means that evening line's probably not going to be severe. And even if we do get severe weather, keep in mind, not everyone's going to see this, right? So I know a lot of people, we have all this damage, let's say in Gary, for example, and a lot of people will say, well, hey, it never hit my house. That was no storm. Storms don't hit everybody. Most of the time, you're probably going to be okay without severe weather damage in these situations. But there are people that are. My job is to keep you safe and to keep you out ahead of this stuff. So I just want to make sure everyone is safe through severe weather events. That's always our goal, right? We like to take care of you guys and make sure you're prepared, but not scared about this stuff, right? We can handle this. We're Northwest Indiana. We get this all the time. All right. Mike says, been hearing about baseball and grapefruit-sized hail in Arkansas. No, we don't, Mike. Their atmosphere in the plains is structured totally differently than ours will be tomorrow. So I'm not expecting monster hail here. It's very rare for us to get a lot of hail here. We tend to get more moisture connection with the Gulf of Mexico too, which kind of hampers hail development. But I'm not expecting monster hail tomorrow locally. No, absolutely not. Caesar, that's okay. And you guys can always, if you're joining now and you've missed the bulk of this, you can always go back and rewatch. It gets posted on our Facebook page right away. So you can kind of like DVR it if you want, get to the sweet stuff. We got into the sweet stuff pretty quickly with this. So that's good. I didn't go on any tangents about cherry juice or anything like that. But anyway, tomorrow we're likely to have some morning activity, Caesar, that's moving through. The big question is, how long does that morning rain and leftover thunder activity last? Does it go through early to late afternoon? If we get rain and rumbles and clouds all day, we're likely not going to see a whole lot of severe weather at the end of the event when the cold front moves through later in the evening. That late afternoon, late evening event, or late afternoon through evening event is going to be the one that we have to watch. If we get rain in the morning and it clears out and we get 4 dry hours or so with some sun peaks, that's going to be problematic. And the models and my thinking is that we're going to have some pretty decent storms around here. You can see it here, kind of the timing of it. This is late evening now. This is rush hour and beyond, says the latest model. We'll just have to see how they end up going. Okay. So Becca, same for you. Okay. We're talking late afternoon into the evening is when we'll have to watch. Jacqueline, same for you. No one in Northwest Indiana is any different than anyone else in terms of this. This isn't like lake effect snow. It's not like, a lake breeze induced thunderstorm activity. This is going to be likely a line of storms that moves through everyone tomorrow afternoon and evening. Big question is, how severe is it? Is the most severe down to our south? Let's hope so. Let's keep it down towards the south. I'm hoping we just get rain throughout the day tomorrow and it kind of calms the atmosphere down and they can keep the severe stuff down to the south. Okay. Becca, you're welcome for sure. All right. Okay, guys, I think that's it. I didn't want to be long. I want to be short and to the point. I think we achieved that tonight. Again, we'll be with you tomorrow. We've got some updates planned. We also have regionweather.com. If you don't like the Facebook format, I know Facebook tends to, pick what they show you in your feed and stuff like that. So I'll have updates on a solid website that we've had updates, I think, 65 days in a row on there. It's regionweather.com. So you can always check that for updates as well. If we do go live tomorrow, though, it will be here on our Facebook page. I've got a long work day tomorrow, so I'll be in the office, but that's okay. We'll be able to help you out, and we'll get through it tomorrow. But again, let's all be junior meteorologists tomorrow. Keep an eye on the radar in the morning. If we've got that rain and storm activity coming through and it sticks around, the longer it sticks around tomorrow, the less our severe weather threat tomorrow afternoon and evening. If it gets out of here and we have a clear window of time, that's not going to be good, and that's going to spell perhaps some severe weather tomorrow evening. All modes of severe weather are possible, damaging wind, hail, and perhaps some tornadoes as well, okay? All right, that's what we're dealing with tomorrow. After that, we turn cooler. I don't see a storm threat for several days after that, which is good for spring. But unfortunately, we're going to get cooler for your Easter weekend. And we'll talk about that more once the severe weather's out of here, okay? All right, enjoy your Tuesday evening, everybody. Rest at ease. It's going to be nice and spring-like tonight. You saw our post earlier. Lows aren't going to get out of the 60s. So this is a good windows open kind of night tonight. So air out the house, get that good spring allergy season going inside. All right, thanks, everybody.